Giant winter storm shifts north, putting southern Indiana and the Ohio Valley into the highest snow totals. How's everyone doing out there? This is Steve from Steve Moore's Weather Service. So, like I had mentioned, the potential in the last video, this humongous winter storm that looks to affect over 200 million people in the lower 48, from Texas all the way to the northeast, has in fact made its shift northward. First, we're going to take a look at the latest European model. That's the same model that first honked the horn at this storm, as well as the first model to really lock in on its shift northward. Now, all the models, including the GFS and the Canadian, have joined the European in agreement with its shift north, from the way everything appeared just 48 hours ago or so. Now, you're going to see an assortment of colors on your screen. The blue is snow, the reddish-orangish color depicts a mixed bag of precipitation, and the green is just regular old liquid rain. We'll start at 6 p.m. on the 24th. At this point, the storm has already got its act well together and has its sights set on our area here in the Indiana, Ohio Valley, and Kentucky regions. Snow will be pushing in, I'm thinking much earlier than this. I'm thinking more like 4 to 6 p.m. we should start getting snow in Indiana, then the Ohio Valley and Kentucky regions. For the first half of the storm or so, Kentucky, especially the northwest side of Kentucky, looks to be getting very consistent heavy snow. The southeast part of the state looks to be also getting pretty heavy snow for the first portion of the storm. Then it's going to turn to ice. But then we're going to get something that we call here in the meteorology world a warm nose, out ahead of the low pressure that will be forming and moving up the spine of the Appalachian Mountains. A warm nose is a bit of warm air both aloft and at the surface, with the winds from the south ahead of the center of low pressure. This will turn the winter precipitation over to just normal old liquid rain. At this point, pretty much places from Bowling Green up to roughly Lexington, over about Moorhead, and down through the Cumberland Plateau looks to switch to rain for a while after getting some heavy snow for the first half of the storm. Now, places such as Paducah, Owensboro, Louisville, and Covington look to stay all, or at least mostly, snow at this point. Now, in between, there's going to be someone that receives a ton of ice. There's going to be someone that gets a lot of sleet, but in the overrun, and overrun is where warm air works. There's cold air at the surface, and warm air kind of works in aloft. The snowflakes fall out of the clouds, they fall through the warmth, they melt, and if there's enough cold air, if the cold air is thick enough down right near the surface, it'll allow it to refreeze, turning it into sleet. Or if it's too thin, it'll stay a raindrop, and it'll fall as a freezing raindrop. Well, it'll just freeze on contact. Someone, unfortunately, I think is going to probably end up with over an inch of ice accumulation. That would take out power. There would definitely be power outages. That would cripple any kind of travel on the roads. That, especially in the hills of Kentucky, that would be devastating. It would be really devastating. And the snow is going to be significant enough, but the ice, it would be almost more devastating, and it will be more devastating. So, wherever the ice sets up, it's gonna be a doozy. Though the locations that I listed just a moment ago, you're right on the line. So if this ticks even a few more miles north, this would also potentially transition your area to rain for a time. However, this would put your location in ice. It just depends on exactly where everything sets up. If you do not change to rain or mix with ice, there easily could be places that get upwards of 18 inches of snow. Especially down here in the hills, be prepared to be snowed in for a bit, especially on the northeast side of Kentucky. Now, as for the Indiana and the Ohio regions, we do not look to have any issues with temperatures. In fact, with what remains of the cold air press to the north, the high pressure that originally was suppressing this storm a little further south than its current track, we should remain in the upper teens as far as air temperatures during the day, with lows in the single digits at night. So, therefore, whatever falls will stick to roads, driveways, sidewalks, pretty much whatever it falls on. The snow looks to be arriving during the afternoon and evening of Saturday, January the 24th. Kind of light at first, but steady, with snowfall rates picking up as 24th turns into the 25th. The heaviest snow looks to be falling very late the 24th through the 25th, essentially. Snowfall totals will be a bit more the further south you are. The heaviest snow looks to fall from very late on the 24th through the 25th. Snowfall totals will be a bit more the further south you are located in your respective state. Pretty much between the Ohio River and Interstate 70, there's going to be a swath of accumulation that I believe easily exceeds a foot, with places locally getting as much as 18 inches, potentially. Places in Indiana such as Evansville, New Albany, Terre Haute, Columbus, Indianapolis, and Richmond, and in Ohio, places in and around Cincinnati, Wilmington, Dayton, Xenia, Springfield, Columbus, Chillicothe, Portsmouth, Zanesville, Marietta, and Athens. I believe we'll end this storm with a foot, and as I said, with some places locally nearing 18 inches of accumulation. To the north of I-70, places like Fort Wayne, Muncie, Kokomo in Indiana, and Lima, Marion, Mansfield in Ohio will get a lot of snow, just not quite as much due to the fact they will be further away from the center of low pressure, though this region will top out around 12 inches of snow roughly. Places further north, accumulation will fall off the further north you are located. As far as this region, seeing storms dropping this much accumulation, it has happened, but it's kind of rare. The first event that will come to mind for some people will be the blizzard of 1978, where we saw anywhere from 1 to 3 feet of snow with over 100-mile-an-hour wind gusts, which caused drifts of up to 25 feet. Now, this storm definitely does not look to be that at all, except the high snow totals. Then a lot of people my age remember the 1998 snowstorm that left up to a couple feet of snow accumulation across the southwest Ohio region. The 2004 Christmas snowstorm that dropped 24 inches of snow in Greenville, Ohio, and 16.4 inches at the Dayton International Airport. This system will rank with those, it appears, with snow starting up the afternoon of Saturday the 24th and not moving out until the morning to midday of Monday the 26th. Be sure to keep an eye out for the next update. Thank you for watching. This has been Steve for Steve Moore's Weather Service. Take care.